How's it? It's Friday. We are getting into the weekend here. Thanks for tuning in. The SportsCage for Nelson Holmes wrapping up the week. What a day out there. What a day weather-wise. Every day is beautiful. Colson's with me today. 3 hours. I'll give you the show rundown here. It's going to be good. Man, I've been to some retirement press conferences. Some good, some that are, they were there. There's one today for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Mitch Picton. And I tell you, we're going to play some audio from it. It was good. Right in the feels. It hits ya. Oilers lose to the Ducks. I've talked to Oiler fans today. I've been chatting with Oiler fans on my phone, text messages. 95% of them, we weren't going to win. We weren't good enough. I think it was after Connor McDavid said that, then everyone's like, all right, let's fall in line. We'll hear from the Oilers as well. We'll recap that. I'm sure I'll be reading your texts on that. PA Medicine Hat tonight, Game 5, Western Hockey League, Eastern Conference Final, PA. The Art Hauser Center is going to be a madhouse. It's going to be awesome. Farhan Lalji is going to join us in hour 1 in about 12 minutes time. We'll have Sprinkle of the Day. Sharky, if you missed the show yesterday, Sharky and I had a little wager yesterday. So, yeah, tough one, Sharks. Segment or hour number 2, NHL Insider. Inside the NHL, Eric Francis is still somewhere on the mean streets of Dublin, Ireland. So we are going to have with us Jordan Schmaltz at JSwish on Twitter. He's got the Home by 3 podcast. Great. He's funny. North Dakota, St. Louis Blues, owns a Rider jersey, big CFL fan. So Jordan Schmaltz is going to join us in hour 2. We're giving away the putting green today at around 4:40. Putting green will be given away, hoping to do the draw and call the winner live here on the radio, the stream, however you're watching. Hour 3, Brett Jones, former NFLer, CFLer, University of Regina Ram, and now Regina Rams coach while he's going to school. This guy's story is fascinating. He's going to be with us in hour 3. More on the NHL, more Picton audio as well. Where do we want to start? Mitch Picton. 9 years. 9 years for his hometown team, the Riders. Leopoldus grad. Then he did the U of R Rams, and then you get to play for the Riders. Jeremy O'Day. We'll start with Jeremy O'Day and just talk. He led it off talking about Mitch and how he's just a class act.
Since 2022, Mitch was the only receiver with 70-plus targets that didn't drop a pass. And so I know what you're probably all going to think is, why don't we throw to Mitch more? Mitch was awesome, true team player, well-liked in the locker room, dependable. Guys love him, and across the board, coaches, equipment staff, he'll be missed in the building for sure.
Yeah, the presser and... Actually, when Mitch had a chance to speak, and he's been on the show before, great guy. The first group that he thanked was the media, which I've heard it before. Players have done it in other leagues, but it's usually kind of the afterthought, and along with a lot of the staff that was on. Colson, which one? Do you want to go to the one where he talks about Gordon Gilroy and Ty Robinson? Just, like you wouldn't think that they would be singled out in this, but just listen to the emotion in this from Mitch when talking about Gilroy and Robinson.
The backbone of the organization, Gordon Gilroy and Ty Robinson. Thank you guys for everything. Gordy, I see you crying. Now I'm going to cry. I spent a lot of time in their room. They took incredibly good care of me. I'm going to miss these guys a lot. there's some hard days in this job. And sometimes just going into their room and having a cup of coffee and getting made fun of by Ty for a few minutes was exactly what I needed on certain days.
You're listening. If you're watching on the stream, you're getting bonus coverage because you're seeing the video and you're seeing the emotion that Mitch had, and it was right through. Of course, Mitch thanks his teammates.
My teammates, some of them are here today. Farhan's in the building. Very thankful for them. You meet so many incredible people throughout your journey in sports, and you learn so much, and that's something that I'll forever be grateful for.
And then, like, there was a lot of people. There were a lot of people at this one. Obviously, a local guy, so there was a lot of family. And then, I've never met or wouldn't have known who Mitch Picton's parents are, but right away, proud mom, great. She had a Picton jacket on, just like his wife. Really, you could just tell they were all smiles when they walked in, the parents. And if you're a parent out there, and when you're proud of your kid, you know exactly what I'm talking about, Colson. You're gonna get there someday. There's like, and it might just be the smallest thing, but the pride that parents show without a lot of times even saying anything, and when they walked into the room, that was the one thing that stood out to me right out of the gates, was just how proud Mitch's mom and dad were. And of course, he did talk about his parents in the journey.
I'd like to thank my parents. My whole life, they've given me every opportunity to be successful in football and beyond football. They've chased me around the entire country for years. From the time I was 18 years old, chasing me around the country to support me and watch me play football. I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done for me.
Told you. Right in the feels. This whole thing, it was fantastic. And of course, his beautiful wife is standing there, and any pro player, any entertainer, anything like that, you need someone at home that's grounded, that's got things on the ground, both feet on the ground, helping out in whatever way, tugging. I could just imagine from camp straight on the amount of work, and then you got the banging of the body and all that. Mitch just talking about his wife and how important she was.
My beautiful wife, Kaylee, has been the backbone of my career. She's been incredibly selfless. Over the last 8 years, she's been with me through my entire pro career. She's taken every opportunity that she can to support me, make sure that I have everything that I need, while still balancing her own career, which Kaylee is the smartest person that I know. Kaylee, she's a real life superhero. Her job at work is not easy. She's taking care of sick babies all day.
Ooh. Yeah, it's 9 years in the league. He was selected in the 5th round of the 2017 CFL. I remember that. Like, man, that seems like 2 years ago. We had the whole Wuhan COVID thing in there as well that mixed us all up time-wise. But 2017, 37th overall. Stat line, 96 passes caught, 1,081 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 64 career regular season games. Of course, just an ambassador, too, with the Rough Rider Foundation. And it's just, like I said at the start, like the local boy, La Boldest. He talked about playing flag football or touch football at Old Mosaic when he was like 5-6 years old, and like looking up and being like, wow. And then you get to play there in high school, which is a big deal. And then he's a member of the Rams, and it's like, all right, this is going well. And then boom, new stadium, playing for your team. Just everything about it. I'm so like, I juggled some things because it came down late. I was so glad I went just to take it all in and to see the emotion. Dave Thomas kind of asked the question that I was gonna ask. The one I was gonna ask him was, I was standing at the back beside a big picture. I don't know who it was, but a lot of times you see, a picture of a player, or you see a painting. A lot of pro players will have a painting done. And I wanted to ask him, like, if you could commission a painting, or if you could get one of these posters, which memory of your career would it be? Would it be, the first game, the first touchdown, the first catch? Would it be an important catch that maybe we don't remember or know about, that it's important to the player? Or would it be that grabbing that Grey Cup and then that's the moment? So Dave kind of asked the question. He more asked what play would go on Mitch's highlight reel.
We now have an opportunity with the announcement to go ahead and build a highlight pack of Mitch Picton. Is there a play that you want us to make sure we include in that?
No, the only play that should go on there is the last play of the Grey Cup, when our DBs broke up that Hail Mary from Davis Alexander, and the boys are running onto the field. That's the only one that matters.
Yeah, he did go through some other ones that stood out in his mind, but it's great. We'll have more audio on that later for Mitch, but what a career. And then he said, it was asked earlier, I think Rob Vanstone asked it earlier, because I was like, okay, what are we, May 1st? When did you actually make the decision? What's that? There, and he said, really, it was after they won the Grey Cup. It's like, that's how the body was breaking down. It's hard to play. And then it was, we won it. We won the ship. This is it. This is the best time to go out. So it sounds like the decision was made a while ago. Doesn't seem like a lot of wavering. So we'll hear more from Mitch as we go. We're gonna go to break. When we come back, our football insider. We're gonna talk some soccer with him as well, though. Farhan Lalji from TSN is gonna be with us. It's a Sports Cage on this Friday, brought to you by Nelson Homes, RTM and Home Packages for over 65 years.
It's time to get the inside story. TSN's Farhan Lalji on Sports Cage is brought to you by the Cooperators. Time to get financially fit? Cooperators can build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
Mr. Lalji is joining us here. I got to say, first off, love the kicks the other night on the draft. They popped.
Thanks, buddy. I don't have any kicks on now. I'm actually in my socks, so I'm a little more casual here than I was that night. I know you're surprised to hear this.
You know what, though?
I got bedroom slippers right next to me. I could put them on and shit. Yeah, forget it.
We're good. We're not a big slipper show. Okay. But what? Let's go through the draft. Anything jump out at you? I love the Riders. I love the Riders' first pick. No, I'm not going to say I knew anything about them going in, but once they make that pick, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like a Tavon Campbell 2.0.
Yeah, for sure. Malcolm Bell, I thought, was a really talented player. I mean, he's got length, he's got speed, he's got just a ton of experience at the top level of college football, playing at Michigan State, and he absolutely insulates the Riders. Tavon Campbell, he missed a few games last year, right? And that affects your ratio. So ultimately, I think Malcolm Bell's a good enough player to start in this league. So do you have corners on both sides that are Canadian? I don't know, because then you better have really good backups in order to make that work. But at least in the first year, they could insulate themselves and just get them on the field in that way, plus all the teams and things like that. You want him to be a little bit better of a tackler. I know that he's got a high amount of tackle totals over the course of time, but there's also some misses there that he's got to get better at. And he's also got to show that he can do more than play press man, that he can play off man and things like that. But in terms of his physical skill set, this guy is a starting caliber CFL player. It's a really good pick for the Riders. And then honestly, I thought that the Riders, pretty much 7 of 9 CFL teams in the second round did some stuff that everybody kind of goes, right? And, the Riders took that receiver, Jetty, who I think probably could have gone later, but then they get Darius Bell in the third round, who I thought would have gone earlier, right? So I think the whole league did some stuff in the second round that I thought was kind of different, but overall, when you look at the Riders class and how they were able to get value in the later rounds, along with Malcolm Bell, I thought it was pretty good.
That's very interesting. It's actually kind of cool, right? Where it's like, it's not cookie cutter. Kind of it seems like everybody's doing their own thing.
No doubt, right? And there's always talk out there about, who's going to take a certain player in whatever round, because the draft, it's not math, it's science, right? It's not simply about getting the right players. It's, can you get the right players in the right spots relative to expectations so that you can extract more value? Like the Bombers traded up from 13 to 10 to pick a tight end from North Carolina State that I don't know that anybody I talked to had him going in the top 3 rounds, let alone at the top of the second round. I thought that was a wild move for me, right? So you give up a second round draft pick next year to go up and get a guy that I don't know that anybody would have taken with the top 10. You probably could have gotten back and gained a draft pick and still wound up picking that guy. Again, I'm not suggesting he's a bad player. I'm just suggesting it might have been a little too high to take that player. And so that's kind of the whole science of the draft. And certainly in that second round, it looked like everybody was operating from a different set of chemical equations.
Yeah, and it's got to be. I've never been in a room, but I'm sure, especially NFL, CFL, doesn't matter what draft, the amount of time and due diligence. But the CFL, and we had people that texted in, and I'm curious your thoughts on this because you're so close to the game. It's like you gotta vet, you gotta do your due diligence on guys because they're gonna be in the NFL and they ain't coming. And a lot of people were criticizing, but I'm like, at some point you gotta trust what you trust and the research that you've done that this will work out because. Yeah, guy could go and impress or practice roster for years. Just there has to be just tons and tons of work put into it, Farhan. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, we got to trust our gut at some point here.
For sure. And look, it's a complicated draft because of the things you mentioned. Like in the NFL, they don't have to worry about losing guys to another league, right? You don't have to put yourself in a position where the clear number one player in the entire draft doesn't get drafted because nobody thinks he's ever coming up here, right? So you had 8 players in this draft that either were drafted or signed as undrafted free agents, which was the same as it was 2 years earlier back in 2024. Last year, much simpler because there were only 4 players that went through that. The guys that get minicamp invites, that's not affecting their draft stock at all. Nicholas Henning is going to go to 2 NFL minicamps, but he still got taken second overall by Toronto. So you do have to weigh those opportunities and how long you think a guy is going to be away. Saskatchewan gets Albert Reese, I want to say in the 5th round. He was an undrafted free agent. Signee in the NFL and got $125,000 signing bonus, which means he's probably going to spend, a year or 2 in the NFL unless he hits. But, you could get a situation like Alaric Jackson, who went down to the Rams as an undrafted free agent and, wound up starting and now is going to be a mainstay in the NFL and isn't going to make his way back up here. He'll have made too much money by the time he's done to ever see the light of day in the NFL, right? Like the Lions took Theo Benedette a couple years ago, right? Took him in the second round. Everyone kind of wondered. And, he goes to the Bears and then he got to play on Monday Night Football last year, right? He got to play games. So that extends your opportunity in the NFL. So, it's always a difficult projection, and it's about to get worse. I know you're going to ask me about the commissioner's announcements and some of the stuff going on there, but an early start to the season means they're probably going to have to move the CFL draft ahead of the NFL draft. So now you won't even know which of the guys that get drafted and signed as undrafted free agents are going to be, which is going to complicate it even further.
That was my next question. And it's like I think the man hours and the due diligence that you're putting in now, like, you know, what are teams going to do with only so much time, resources, man hours to figure out, okay, well, like I how do you see that playing out? Like that is going to be so difficult.
Yeah, look, there's no guarantees, right? I don't know that anybody in the CFL thought that who's the receiver, Malik Mega, was going to get signed as an undrafted free agent. I think that came out of nowhere for most CFL teams. I think they felt that he might go in as a mini camp invite, right? And that wouldn't affect his stock at all. But all of a sudden, you know, that happened. So there's just no guarantees. You know, all these CFL teams have connections in the NFL. They go to NFL training camps and they get access to, you know, they're on the same sidelines during the same pro days as NFL scouts. And, you know, there's some mutual respect there. But ultimately, the NFL isn't fully convinced what they're going to do until a certain player becomes available, right? So, you know, you can kind of know to within 90% whether or not a guy's going to get drafted or not, but you're not going to know to 100%. So at some point, you're just going to have to take a plunge, right? But it certainly would be a lot easier. You know, the Logan Taylor, the offensive lineman from Boston College that went in the 6th round this year, you know, a lot of people thought he was going to get drafted higher. What's his name? We talked about Albert Reese, right? The season he had this year in the SEC, people thought he was going to get drafted into the NFL and that he wouldn't have to be an undrafted free agent. So it can go in either direction. You just don't know.
Where do you land on the getting rid of, dissolving the global draft?
I think it's inevitable. You know, this was a real Randy Ambrosie passion project, but I don't know that it got the desired effect. And the reason for that is whenever the NFL gets involved, they'll jump you, right? Like they will jump you. So now, you know, I think the whole goal from Randy Ambrosie's standpoint at the time was, can we get, you know, these high-level athletes that are globals into our league, and maybe down the road it leads to some broadcast opportunities or some sponsorship opportunities or something in Europe to try to provide different revenue from there for people to want to watch these players. But when the NFL gets involved with their International Pathways project and things like that, and now those global players are going to wind up playing in the NFL, like the top ones, right? That makes it less valuable for those countries to want to watch, you know, the next best level of player from their country playing in the CFL. And then so many of them are now kickers, right? Nobody's going to turn on the TV to watch kicker. It's just the way it goes. I'm sorry, right? So I think eventually you're going to get to a point where the globals that are in the league are going to get protected. Their spots will get protected and grandfathered by the PA. And then eventually the global draft goes away. So I don't know. You're seeing teams put less into it now. You know, a few guys get invited to the Canadian CFL Combine, but they don't do their own combine like they did the first couple of years and things like that. So they'll invest less, and then they're just going to get an opportunity. If they come into the game or into the league, they'll have to come in as non-Canadians, right? And take an American spot.
Okay, I'm curious to hear this. I think a lot of people are. Farhan Lalji's take on what's coming in 2027 with the playoffs.
Not loving it, but I get it. Right, I like everybody else, like the 8 of 9 thing. I think you raise your eyebrows a little bit, and there's some concerns. I'm not going to be one of these people that rails against the commissioner. And people think I don't do that because I work for TSN, and that's just not the truth, right? Like generally for some of these things, I just want to take a wait and see approach. And I understand why Stu Johnson did this. I understand that he wanted to create more inventory, more high-end inventory with additional playoff games, right? We're in the midst of putting the finishing touches on the television deal, and I'm sure TSN is going to be involved, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else got involved too. And if they get involved, you've got to create potential high-value games within their broadcast package as well. So I get why Stu's doing it, but I am curious, like, does it hurt the credibility that all of a sudden everybody's getting in and now teams maybe don't have to try as hard to get those final spots? Now you're actually trying harder to get a home playoff advantage in the first round of the playoffs and to get a higher seeding, because it would make a difference if you're seeded third or seeded second. Right? Because you're guaranteed that you're not eliminated after a first round game. So there are some things to that. It does lead to a level of complication. I know people are looking at it like the Page playoff in curling. I kind of look at it like the NBA play-in round. it's weird for me to have a playoff game in football that isn't single elimination, that isn't sudden death. So there's some weirdness to it. Deep down, I don't like it, but I can't say I hate it. And there is a level of gray there. So it's not my first choice, but I totally understand why Stu is doing it. Let's give it a chance, right? The fans will decide if they like it based on how much they watch and based on how much they attend these games. We'll know.
That's I was at first. I'm like, okay, I'll give this is a 24-hour. I'd put my slippers on and think about it for 24 hours, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not always change isn't a bad thing. Let's see how it plays out. I don't know. I'm not in the big chair making tough decisions. So sure, 4 extra playoff games. Like I can't see it in my lifetime, or if this, I don't even know how many spins I got left. But the 8 seed. The 8 seed ain't grinding to that Grey Cup, like unless there's a quarterback and running back or somebody that didn't play the rest of the game. But talk about
no, but you do have to win 4 games, right? Like you do have to win an additional game, and it makes it harder to get to that point, right? Like if you win a playoff, you win a Grey Cup coming in as an 8 seed, like you will have earned it. And there's a lot of people who have debate about whether or not we should continue East-West. This opens that up, right? That may not happen now, right? Because once you get past the first 4, the other 4 seeded, top to bottom, not East-West. So there's a lot of things that could turn into positives, but then there's some unintended consequences. To your point, right? Like teams in that 8 spot that don't have to fight for it, might they rest the guy? You never know.
Last thing on football, Mitch Picton officially announces his retirement today. I went to the presser, just right in the feels, lots of emotion. It's what it should be. I'm sitting in that room and I'm like, a local guy, plays for his team, 9 years. He's kind of Mr. Reliable when they call him and need him. And then he wins the Grey Cup. Like it was like, okay, this is a little Disney action here.
I think it's awesome, and I think he's a high-character guy, and this is what the CFL is supposed to be about, right? People will look at it and say, no, like Nathan Rourke, that's what it's supposed to be about. That's the high end. I don't see it that way. I see it as Mitch Picton, and I love the fact that he could have a press conference, and I love the fact that he could be celebrated in Saskatchewan, because that doesn't happen everywhere in the country. I know there were some people out here who suggested that Boseko Lacombo, who in fairness, was probably a better player, because he was a full-time starter for most of his career. Couldn't have one in BC. This was a guy that played BC high school football. He left for his senior season and played at Oregon and did have a small cup of coffee in the NFL, but the majority of his CFL career was played back with his hometown BC Lions. And there wouldn't have been interest in a Boseko Lacombo press conference in Vancouver, but there is for a Mitch Picton press conference in Saskatchewan. And I think that's awesome for a guy to go through the minor football system in there, play collegiately in Saskatchewan, and then play his entire career, and to be celebrated and to have the fields, and to have Barney Shynkaruk go to his press conference, like that's a big deal. So and he was that guy. He was always reliable. You could always count on him. He didn't have the ego that he had to be wide receiver 1. He could plug and play into every spot, and you knew you'd have a reliable guy there that would know the offense, that would make the catches, would find a way to get open and convert on second down. I got all the time in the world in Mitch Picton, and I'm glad he's being celebrated.
Okay, what's up with the Vancouver Whitecaps? Not a big soccer guy, but man, they've been a staple. I know about them, and now is this kind of someone is the play to say, hey, we can relocate to Vegas? Just give us the 411 on what's happening there.
Yeah, right. There's an ownership group in Vegas that has made a pitch to MLS to buy the Whitecaps and move them to Vegas. And just the future of the Whitecaps has really been in doubt for the last year because the owners want to sell. Now, understand, MLS is not like the 4 major pro leagues, right? Like those 4 major pro leagues have 124 teams in them combined. You know how many lose money, Barney? 2. In MLS, 16 of 29 teams lose money, right? People want to be critical of the CFL and the teams that lose money. MLS teams lose money. And the Vancouver Whitecaps have lost $10+ million a year for a number of years. So for those owners to extract value out, they've got to eventually sell. That's when you make your money in this league. You either get it from expansion fees, right? And that's what we kind of call it, a bit of a Ponzi scheme, or you get it when you eventually sell. And right now, the Whitecaps owners have had enough. They want to sell, and they haven't been able to turn it around. And there's concerns that the financial model doesn't work because they don't have their own stadium. Should they be given the opportunity to manage BC Place for all traffic potentially? What involvement should the government have, because they can't run the stadium at a loss, right? They can't subsidize this team at a loss. So all of those conversations are taking place, but the serious of it now is going to flesh out any potential new buyers, and I think there will be some. So MLS has to decide. The difference in this league, what makes a sell process different in MLS is that if you want to sell the team, you don't get to sell the team and negotiate A to B as an owner to seller. You tell the MLS you're ready to sell. They go out and find your buyer and tell you how much you're going to get. And then the rest of it goes to the team in the league, right? Because that's just how the whole thing is set up. And the Whitecaps right now in the last 2 years have been the best team in MLS from a win-loss perspective. They're an awesome soccer team. They got Thomas Muller, who the city loves. The fans are coming. They had 27,000 at their last game. They've been over 23 all season. They are killing it right now. So it's unfortunate this is happening, but it has certainly got everybody's attention, and a lot of people are doing work around behind the scenes, and just the optimist in me thinks they're going to figure a way out. But right now, the threat of losing this team is real, and they've been in Vancouver for over 50 years.
Is there any way they could do their own stadium, or that's fantasy land?
Yeah, I know. Look, I don't think the owners are going to invest, whatever $500 million it's going to take to go build a new stadium, even if the Lions want to get involved. I just don't see it happening. And, they were given permission in December. They got a memorandum of understanding with the city about developing the Hastings Park area, which is where the old P&E and Empire Stadium used to be. Not the old P&E, the P&E's still there, but old Empire Stadium. And, they kind of looked into it, and the city was even committed to taking a SkyTrain, right, and getting it to there. And, all those conversations were happening. But ultimately, the finances just didn't work, and they needed additional investment from other groups to make that happen, and that just wasn't out there, right? So it was a good idea at the time. Here you go, develop it, find your money and develop it, and we'll give you a really favorable lease, and we'll do all of this. But ultimately, we're not paying for your stadium, and nor should they, right? So, it's tough. In Surrey, which is a suburb of Vancouver, there's always conversation from different politicians about building a stadium out here and creating all of this. And, it hasn't worked that way yet. So I think that they need to sell. And whoever buys it maybe needs to get the opportunity to manage the stadium like they do in places like Toronto with BMO, in Seattle, in Portland, where you don't necessarily own it, but you get to manage it. And maybe there's some additional revenues available there for the owners.
Okay, Colson wanted to say in closing what you think of us getting these tarps done and then maybe selling them for charity or something.
You got to read that to me because my screen is kind of in front of it right now. Something about ninth, and all I get is this
my team
lousy
finished
t-shirt.
ninth in the CFL, and all I get is this lousy shirt.
They got a shirt? We're going to get a shirt?
Yeah, we'll give the team that finishes ninth a shirt and an L on the helmets for the next year.
Well, but now remember this, right? Like as we're all cynical about it, I get it, and I'm cynical about it too. A lot more playoff money. 8 and 9 are going to make money, 7 and 8 are going to make money. Those players are going to make money. The other players are going to make money for an extra potential playoff game. So players are happy about it. Usually they're incredibly critical about this stuff, but the PA signed off on it really, really early, and maybe they will make sure that Team 9 gets a shirt.
I just want to see West versus West, East versus East in the Grey Cup. That would be awesome. Okay, thanks so much.
Me too. Let's do it.
Thanks so much. You got to round up some buddies and buy that soccer team out there. That's what you got to do.
Let's do it. Yeah. I'll add the last, I'll kick in maybe $100.
Sell those shoes, and then we'll get the money we need. Talk to you next week, Farhan.
See you. Have a good weekend.
You too. There he is from TSN, Farhan Lalji. It's a Sports Cage streaming through our YouTube channel, sportscage.com. Prairieland Rentals text line 936-6262. If you have comments, anything you want to weigh in on, Oiler fans, looking at you, Hab fans, big one tonight. People weighing in on Mitch Picton, like Roscoe. Mitch is a compelling person who was proud to be a rider James as well, some kind words for the Picton family in there. If you got anything, 936-6262. Did you hear about this? I don't know. I don't know where I land on it, but Canada, Hockey Canada, announcing that Canada won't be going to the Spengler Cup next year. If you listen to this program in the winter, this was on my bucket list to go to the cathedral, as they call it, in Davos, Switzerland. I guess I can still go. The tournament's still going to be there. And I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun for everybody. But if you're driving and you're in your car and listening on the radio and not watching on the stream, Hockey Canada and the Spengler Cup Organization Committee have announced that Canada's national men's team will not participate in the 2026 Spengler Cup. Hockey Canada's long-term agreement expired following the 2025 Spengler Cup, and a new agreement to include Team Canada in the 26 event could not be reached in time. The Spengler Cup is a special event, and we are grateful for many years of partnership, yada, yada, yada. Hockey Canada and the organizing committee continue to engage discussions around future participation in the Spengler Cup, and we look forward to the future of this prestigious tournament. I wonder if someone missed an email. Hey, did you get everything approved on that Spengler Cup, Jim?
I forgot to check my spam folder.
Oof. Yeah. It's in my junk folder. Oh. I don't know. I guess it'll be a little bit weird. Does TSN save a bunch of money now, not having to send the broadcast team? Again, I love watching it. Love everything about it. Want to go to it. But at least for next year, Canada will not be playing in it. Let's get into Sprinkle of the Day. First off, do you have the clip from yesterday? Sure. So here's what I did last night. Sprinkle of the Day for Sports Select. On my way home, after Sharky and I talked about it. Okay, Colson's got it. Here's what Sharky and I talked about yesterday on the show.
What do we got? A wheel and a couple of glasses tonight?
Yeah, we could wheel and a couple of pints.
Yeah.
From Western Pizza.
Yeah.
How big a pie?
Just the two of us.
Okay.
Okay. I got the Oilers.
You got the Oilers?
Ducks.
Let's go.
Straight up. Love it. All right.
Yeah, that text message came in. Felt good. All I replied was an emoji of a slice of pizza.
Yeah, you sent it to the group chat that I'm in with you guys. I saw that.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I was excited. Yeah, more just because the one to bet on Sharky. But on my way home, I stopped at my Lotto Spot retailer, which is the fine folks at Sherwood Co-op on Rochdale. And I looked at it, and I filled it out old school. I didn't even do the barcode on this because I was sitting there and I'm going, okay, no, let's just go with it. And I went Ducks, Pro Line, no overtime, mumbo jumbo, Ducks to win. And a somewhat decent unit that I put down. I said, this game's going to be very interesting now. I'm invested in this, and then, oof. Oilers weren't that good. Do you have the Connor McDavid? Yep. Play Connor McDavid. Okay, we got to get it. There we go.
Your team didn't have that you had last.
They played very fast, and we weren't very fast. Yeah, it was just the opposite. They had a good start. We didn't chasing the game.
What was it about your game that you found it in spurts, but you just couldn't maintain it? I guess. What did you see out there in this?
I mean, that's been the whole year. We've been searching for consistency all year. Obviously, we didn't find it here in the playoffs.
Yeah, why? I mean, it seems like it goes back to game one. It's been all year searching. Any way to put your finger on how come it was so hard to find the overall game this season?
That was tough. We were an average team all year. An average team with high expectations, you're going to be disappointed. We just never found it.
Do long playoff runs catch up to this week?
whatever. I'm not gonna. Who knows? I mean, no. No. I thought we were. Yeah. I don't know.
The special teams battle coming into this series.
I just feel like he just wants to grab all the microphones and just yell at the top of his lungs. I hate it here. We're never gonna win. Sorry, Oilers fans. It's too fresh. There's a man, Jeff from Sand Lake Colony. Says I was pretty certain the Oilers were going to win last night, but it seems I was wrong. I guess I'll throw my Oiler merch in the basement and showcase my Blue Jays merch now. Go buy some Rider stuff. I don't know about the Jays this year either, Jeff. But yeah, they just... oh boy. And so then, again, lots of really logical Oiler fans texting today, talking today. It's like, well, they're going to get rid of guy. Like, they're going to get rid of some of the big names. Is Hyman gone? Yeah, like, can you get anything? Can you do anything kinky to try and get Nurse out? I know everybody thinks that Bouchard's the second coming of Chris Pronger, whoever you want to go back. That was a great. But man, I don't think that guy. I think that guy's a liability more than he helps you. Yeah, he's got a big shot from the point. But when you were playing ice hockey in Nintendo, and the bigger guys could sure slap that puck, but then you ran into a buzzsaw of the little skinny guys and a couple of medium guys, you're in trouble. Sometimes. It'll be interesting. And is Imperial Saskatchewan's Chris Knobloch back next year? Or does Bowman really shake the dice, do something? You got Jari. You probably have to work with that. There's no getting out of that. Again, you can do whatever. If you find someone, was I crazy? I don't know. I thought I took the Ducks just at the start. I knew they were young and fast. And full admission, I didn't watch enough of them. And I kind of did it because I just don't like the Oilers enough that I'm like, eh. And then as a series, the first game, and as the series went on, I'm like, whoa, my eyeballs are telling me that these guys could easily win this series and are probably going to win this series. 936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals, by the way, has the robotic mowers in. Those things are really cool. They also have zero turns, regular push mowers. I think I need a new mower this year. And then they got the whole rental side of the business too, but Husqvarna, good quality stuff.
You know the annual garage sale kind of time of year that stuff happens? Sure. It's that time out in White City in Emerald Park. I got a text from my parents. Neighbors selling the lawnmower if you want theirs. I know you want the robot one though.
My days of buying, I think, a used lawnmower are gone. I did that when I was young. Don't get me wrong. I don't want it breaking down. I'm not fix-it guy. I got to bug my neighbor. If I buy a lawnmower, I'm going Husqvarna. And it might be the last lawnmower I own, which is crazy. That's where I am in my life. What do we got? More text messages. Daryl Katz, the Oilers owner, released this morning that he's going to reevaluate the whole team within the next 3 weeks. Nobody's job is safe, or nor should be. You're lying. There are people that have safe jobs there. Don't lie, Daryl. What's Daryl looking like these days? Last time I saw him, it looked like he got locked in a tanning bed, and he was throwing a party. His hair was woof. So very wealthy. Don't get me wrong, but wealthy people can look funny. Kevin. I love the regulars, the cage regulars. Kevin says, with the Ducks and Flyers advancing, if I recall, you'd eat your gotch if they play in the Cup final. I think those two were the teams. Yeah, Colson's got it written down.
Yep, it was Kings Flyers, Ducks Flyers.
And it's a piece of my gotch, not the full thing. Oh, that was a fun day. Yeah, Kev, you got me. Chad wants to know who won the putting green. 440, we're announcing it. 440, we're giving away the putting green. And then Habs, sorry to my wife again. I got to coach flag football, mind you. But, I want to watch this hockey tonight. Canadiens Lightning. Oh, man. 5 o'clock start, too. Sabres Bruins. What's everyone got there? What's everyone got on these series? What's going to happen? And then Golden Knights Mammoth. We're talking to Jordan Schmaltz in hour 2. Jay Swish. His brother plays for Utah. He played in the league as well. He is funny, and he's a big Rider fan, CFL. He's going to be our NHL insider in hour 2. So that's coming up. Let's talk. That's Colson and I just sitting here having a good time. 936-6262. Text in. Oh, it's a couple more coming in. We'll read those when we get back. It's a Sports Cage streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Announced today, if you missed it at the top of the show, we heard from a Mitch Picton officially announcing his retirement from the Saskatchewan Roughriders and professional football. Hockey news, Canada not going to the Spengler Cup next year. Speaking of hockey, up in paradise tonight, Prince, was watching the stream. I'm wearing my lid. Prince Albert Raiders home to the Medicine Hat Tigers. Best of series tied 2-2. That game's got to be sold out. And I wish I was going to it. I wish. Too busy. National Hockey League tonight, like we talked about, 5 o'clock. It's the Canadiens hosting Tampa Bay. Chance to wrap that series. Buffalo up 3-2. They're in Boston. And then the Golden Knights, a chance to wrap it up in Utah against the Mammoth. Baseball, Blue Jays play in Minnesota. 6:10 is the first pitch, and the World Senior Curling Championships is going on. Bruce Cortier's rink, getting after it. All the details at sportscage.com. Sportscage.com poll today: which CFL team improved the most after the Canadian and global drafts? You can vote at sportscage.com. Text message, Prairie Line Rentals text line for a break here. Bouchard is in more goal highlights for the opposition than for the Oilers. Well, he made a bad play on that one yesterday. Bad kind of pinch-ish on in center ice area. Yeah, that wasn't a good look. Roscoe says his John Deere mower is 24 years old, runs great, self-propelled, but would consider an electric one, believe it or not. Roscoe, Prairie Land Rentals text line. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street in Regina here. Go and check them out. I think some of them are up to $1,000 off right now. The old robotic mower. Just think how cool your neighbors will think you are, too. And all the kids in the neighborhood. Hey, that's a cool guy. It's got the robotic mower. Play Mr. Roboto while you're playing it. Get some speakers. There you go. 936-6262.
Doesn't the mower just play the music itself?
It should have some sort of Bluetooth capability on there. Hour 2 is coming up on Friday for Nelson Holmes. Keep the text messages coming because I love a lot of the regulars starting to come in today now. We are going to hear from Jordan Schmaltz. If you don't know who this guy is, he is hilarious. Former NHLer. He has the Home by 3 podcast. Played at the University of North Dakota, St. Louis Blues. Great career. He's in for Eric Francis. We're going to have Clutch Performer. We are going to give away the putting green at around 4:40. Oh, you're getting a backyard putting green on this show. Oh, I love it. What a great idea. Someone's getting lucky. We'll hear more from Mitch Picton as we go along here. It is a Sports Cage on Friday. We're having fun. Hopefully you are as well. Nelson Holmes is the sponsor. We'll be back after the news. Welcome back to the Sports Cage on this Friday. It's for Nelson Holmes, RTM Home Packages, for over 65 years. Time to talk some hockey. Time to talk some puck. If you missed it, announced earlier today, Canada will not be going to the Spengler Cup next season. Interesting news there, but it's the NHL. Oiler fans, I know a lot of you, actually, like I said earlier, a lot of Oiler fans were realistic. They kind of knew they just didn't have it this year, but we got 3 games tonight. Let's go inside the NHL. It's usually with Eric Francis, but today I'm bringing on Jordan Schmaltz, JSwish24 at Twitter. It's for Sports Select, sportselect.com, where you can make your picks online now, generate a QR code, take that to a lot of spot retailer, scan, there you go. Or you can fill out the slips the old way. Look up the futures if you want to bet who's going to win the West Conference, East Conference, but then just tonight's games as well. Every bet is 100% legal. You have a chance of winning cash in hand when you're ready to play. Bet on the original. Sports Select. Must be 18 plus to play, and play responsibly. Like I said, JSwish24 at Twitter and X. Great follow. The Home by 3 podcast. If you're looking for a new pod, hockey, kind of like this show, sports, but then a little dabble in of pop culture, different things like that. Home by 3 podcast. It's an awesome listen if you're out cruising. I know a lot of you getting ready to seed. He does that. He owns a Rider jersey. He's former University of North Dakota alum, St. Louis Blues. He had the career. Now he's in the media. What did I miss, Schmaltzy?
Thank you again. And the official, unofficial correspondent, mind you, of the hardest 9-team league in the world, that is the CFL, folks. So, jack of all trades, master of none, I always say. I appreciate it. Reoccurring guest and friend of the show. So thank you for having me again, brother. It's good to be here.
Do you want to start with that? Do you want to start with the CFL news and how we got 9 teams and starting in 2027, 8 are going to make the playoffs?
Yeah. So I've always said, and I was fortunate to go to my first ever Grey Cup last year in beautiful Winnipeg, Manitoba, Las Vegas, for the folks that know it as Vegas of the North. And yeah, to take in the 112th edition, especially being just field side and boots on the ground, you can really tell how hard and how special this trophy is to win. You only get 3 downs. That thing is the size of a beach ball. But yeah, I'm hearing some news that in the 27 season that there's going to be 8 teams making the playoffs. So does that rule out a crossover game then for travel, or how's that going to work? Because that was always my favorite, the crossover game. A team getting a wild card bid.
Well, you're gonna have 1 and 2. So the first place team, second place team from the East and West will play off, but then they're gonna reseed. So you're going to have teams 5, 6, 7, and 8 get reseeded, and then from there on, it's a crapshoot. It could be West versus West, East versus East. But at the end of the day, how it works out, not to get into inside baseball too much, but you're going to have an East team and a West team in the semifinals. That'll work out for sure. But when it comes to the Grey Cup, you could have West versus West, East versus East. So you know what? Change isn't. You see, you're an American guy. You follow the league. You think it's kind of cute. You think it's it's good football. It's entertaining. You were at the Grey Cup. Are we making too much about how many teams are in the league and that 8 are going to make it? Like, to talk some sense into us Canadians.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, it's the CFL. At the end of the day, I like to joke about it. Obviously, my Canadian buddies that I went to school with really put me onto it back in the day, and circa 2012 at North Dakota, Colton Sanderson, Moose Jaw's finest, being a big fan of the Riders. So I've been a fan ever since of the league. But at the same time, it is good football. Like kids that were really good players, Division I, even some of North Dakota's best players, a kid named Quincy Vaughn. He's playing up in Calgary for the Stampeders. So I've always come accustomed to the league. Obviously guys like Ricky Sticky Ray, Cavillo up in Montreal. These guys, Tony, that is, these guys are always, I keep my eyes on them per se. And I think we're making too much of it. I think, like I said, the hardest 9-team league in the world. Why not? Let's open up to 8 teams. Let's make the best team win and see what we can do. It's crazy too, even being at the Grey Cup last year, boots on the ground. The amount of fans that travel from other teams to go to this event, I thought that was the coolest thing. There was a ton of Hamilton Tiger Cats fans, Argonauts. So I'm looking to get up there for the Grey Cup coming up. It's in Calgary, right, this year? Confirmed?
We got
Aaron Drager?
Yeah, we got Cowtown this year, but then next year it's in Saski here. That's the party.
Okay.
That's the party.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll have to be. Well, it looks like I'm doing a turkey then. If we're talking bowling, I'm gonna do Winnipeg and then Cowtown, and then I got to make it to the new mosaic. So that sounds like a triple header for me. I'm not missing it anymore. If I can make it, I'm there. If I don't have any other obligations, I'm at the Grey Cup every year.
Why wouldn't a guy? Okay, let's talk some hockey here. Oilers, when you watch this series, you watch how it plays out. You could just tell, couldn't you? They just didn't have that jam. There was injuries, but Schmaltz, I don't think they were good enough.
Yeah, no, I mean I would agree. I don't think it's a secret. I mean their captain came out and said, we were an average team that had high expectations, right? That was the story for the entire year, and then you throw in injury to 97, probably playing at 50%, to be honest, with that high ankle sprain, it sounds like. Leon Draisaitl trying to fight back and get into the lineup for his team. And, even Jason Dickinson, who they brought over from Chicago, he was banged up. The defense, there's some holes back there. Their goaltending wasn't perfect. My only thing is you might not have won the series, and the team maybe needed just some time off, honestly, from playing in back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Obviously, a lot of players being the Olympians. But why not go to Calvin Pickard for one game? Go to Picks for one game. That was the one thing I thought. You got Jari. He was underwhelming, obviously. And then you go to Connor Ingram, who was kind of up and down since he got called up from Bakersfield. The glue of that team, I think, the Elmers, if we're talking glue, was Calvin Pickard. And I just thought, maybe they could have went to Picks for that last game, or maybe even thrown him in when they made the original change. I don't know. Hindsight's always 20/20, but I don't think this team ultimately was going to win the mug this year. So maybe just a long off season, reset, get these guys healthy, hopefully retool the roster, and ultimately get some better players in there for McDavid. Otherwise, he's going to be packing his shit and getting out of town.
You played in the league. You're close to the league. You're talking to guys all the time. Why weren't we talking about Anaheim enough? What's good about the Ducks?
Yeah, other than Ducks like rain, I mean, I think the thing with them is they were kind of free falling into playoffs. If we're being honest, they kind of almost were going with the Tom Petty approach. They were free falling a little bit, I think. So when they weren't, they were hot midway through the year after the Olympic break. They were a little underwhelming. I think teams kind of started, even teams across the league, and then obviously, guys like me that call themselves analysts were like, okay, well, maybe this team's cooling off. Maybe, the lack of experience, the youth on the team, they're hitting a wall, because they did hit a wall. They weren't that great coming down the stretch, and lining up against a team like Edmonton, and you're thinking, okay, they got Draisaitl back, McDavid's going to be going. Hopefully, the doctor back there can play like a true number one defenseman, or close to something like that. Anytime you're matched up against the Beast, you're thinking, maybe. I mean, these guys. I mean, even me, I was like, Edmonton's going to win in 5 games. But then when you really dissect their team and you think about their year. Maybe not the finish, but just the guts of their year, they were a really good ball club, and they're lethal on the power play. People forget Cutter Gauthier scored over 40 goals. They have really good pieces. Jackson Lacombe, who is coming into his own right in this playoffs through those first 6 games, he's been incredible. They got a little bit of goaltending, which they lacked coming down the stretch. So I think for a team like that, then you slot in some veterans like that have won with Alex Killorn and some of these other pieces. John Carlson, a sneaky ad for the room at the deadline. Obviously, on the power play, we know what he can do. But yeah, I just think people were overlooking him just because the stretch run they put together at the end, and then the youth maybe. But you got to remember they got good veterans and Coach Q back there, so it makes sense. And man, I don't know. Whoever wins this Vegas-Utah series, they're going to have their hands full with the Ducks.
Speaking of coaches, Jay Woodcroft, former head coach of the Oilers, knocks him out as an assistant with Anaheim. Chin still tucked for him, or he can put that chin out now a little bit?
Oh, my God. Yeah, his chin was over his shin every time they scored a goal the entire series. I mean, their power play was lethal, right? Over 50% for the series. That was the difference maker, clearly. But Jay Wrenchcroft, as I call him, Jay Woodcroft, because, man, he was 6 to midnight every time they scored. He was looking over kind of at the Edmonton bench. Yeah. I guess, revenge like that can feel good. He was fired up. It was just funny every time they would scan to the bench after they scored. He was just fired up. So no Cialis needed for him. But, yeah, they got a good coaching staff there, and I'm happy for a guy like that too, because you get canned, and now you accept less of a role, but maybe you get a little bit of just a little tingle of, I guess, revenge, if you will.
So now all the people, I'm not one of them, that it's like, oh, Canada's team, we got to have a Canadian team, yada, yada. I'm not one of those ones. But Montreal, a chance to wrap it up against Tampa Bay. For you, where you stand, were a lot of people giving Tampa Bay too much respect and Montreal not enough in this series, or where do you land there?
I don't know. I mean, the thing with Tampa Bay is they're clearly a little bit clunky right now on the blue line, and the speed of Montreal in their attack is overwhelming them, right? So if you look at their back end, I mean, J.J. Moser, he can turn, but the other guys, a lot of those guys, I mean, McDonough is a borderline Hall of Famer, but, McDonough is getting a little bit, heavier in the boots. Cernak, no disrespect, but turns like a 747. So some of those guys on their back end are just a little bit heavy in the boot department, and you can really see what Montreal is exposing them, especially through the neutral zone as they build speed into the offensive zone. So I picked Tampa Bay originally in 7 games just because I thought their goalie, Vasilevsky and Kuch and Hagel, some of these guys that are just absolute dogs on their team, would maybe push them over the top against a team like Montreal. That's a young group that's fired up to play playoff hockey, but chance to close it out tonight. I think if Montreal wants to win this series, I mean, it's not really a hot take, but I think they got to win this game tonight and seal the deal. Because if it goes 7, I would lean on Tampa Bay's experience.
Is there a guy that's got worse body language than Kucherov, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that guy. That body language, that's almost like, that should be its own language. You know what I mean? You got sign language, you got different types of languages. But, he's just out there just, shrugging his shoulders, head down, tail between the legs, and all of a sudden, pops off for like 1 and 2. So, with guys like that, though, you just got to – they're so good, you just kind of got to let them do their thing. Let them be Picasso. Let them paint. Don't piss them off too much. And I think Coop does a really good job with his star players, and especially Kuch, just a unique talent and obviously a unique personality.
Jordan Schmaltz joining us here. Great follow, Jay Swish 24 at Twitter, and as well Home by 3 podcast. It's great stuff if you're looking for a pod to listen to. Where do you land on the Buffalo-Boston series? Are you on this Buffalo thing? Are we kind of all rooting for the team that couldn't?
Oh, yeah, 100%, because I want to get back to that old KeyBank Arena, a.k.a. the Bump. I want to get there and go on Chippewa Street. I mean, these people are insane. We did a show there dating back to, like, early December, and we did a show right on Chippewa Street, and these people in the stands that came to our show, they were threatening to go storm into Kevin Adams' house. They were ready to light it on fire. And then a week later, they made the GM change. Not that really fixed anything with their roster, but for whatever reason – kind of gave the players put them on tilt, a little wake-up call, fellas. Hey, we can't fire all of you at once, but, the GM's coming in, a new one. If it's going to take a new coach, whatever, or at the end of the season, if we got to get rid of all you guys, that's what it's going to be. So I think it really started with an attitude from Jarmo Kekalainen. And I love Buffalo. That place is just right in the guts of the Rust Belt. It's a good U.S. city, blue-collar people, a lot like Wisconsin people, or I'd even say, a place like Sask or Toba. So those people are salt of the earth, and I'm always rooting for them. So I'm hoping they win tonight. I got them in 6. I think they get it done tonight. Tage Thompson, he knows he's got to score tonight. I think he's going to get one and put Buffalo on his back, and they are going to be drunk tonight up there in upstate New York. I can't wait to see it.
For sure. I loved the Coyotes. I loved everything about it. They left, obviously, to Utah. Your brother is there with Utah. Are you talking to him quite a bit throughout the series?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I went and watched his Game 4 in Salt Lake City last week. I actually was on a little bit of a swing doing some shows myself, but I flew in and watched Game 4. They lost that game in overtime. It was a dagger, but he looked great. He had a goal, obviously, to kind of get the things going when they were down 3-0. Kick-started the party. That was a great game. The building was so loud. So, yeah, and then it was unfortunate how it ended the other night, too, where they had him on the ropes again and, just didn't close the game out. So, yeah, I'm talking to him every day. obviously they got a big tilt tonight. I'll be tuned in. I'm in Chicago right now. I got my buddy's wedding, if he still gets married, in about 2 hours here. So I think he's going to go through with it, but I'll be tuned into that game for sure, no doubt.
I like that series. I find both goaltenders at times, it's like, oh, okay, especially Carter Hart, because I watched him live a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know about this. And then the other night he's making saves. I don't know if they're fluky or not. Then Vejmelka at times, looks like Ken Dryden back in the 70s, and then other times it's like, how did he let that in?
I know, yeah. The goals that kill you in playoffs are the ones that go through your goaltender. Like, you have to make the first save, and then from there we can sort it out. But if you're getting beat, like even that Pavel Dorofeyev goal, the first one last game, Game 5, right? It was on the power play. It came over from the top of the key to the right flank. Dorofeyev fired that puck. I mean, it was a decent shot, no screen, but it kind of goes through him. And then there was one from the point that maybe he was screened a little bit by Marner, but it still kind of beat some 6-hole. If we're talking skee ball. And it's just like those are the killers, because that's what deflates a bench. You have to make those first saves, and then obviously you're going to need some timely ones after that. But you're right. I mean, the goaltending has been lackluster. I think the biggest thing for Utah, though, if we're going to be honest, is they got to get a little bit cleaner out of their own end. They were pretty good last game. They were really good on their attack, where they were depositing pucks in terms of dumping pucks in, getting them back, and then Vegas, they come back and they sit all on one side of the ice. So what I mean by that, if they're going back to the puck in the corner, they sit 5 guys on one half of the ice. If you cut down the midline of the net, they have 5 guys all on one side of the ice because they play really compact, and it's a strength of theirs. But if Utah can get those pucks and change sides, go behind the net, maybe even all the way up to the point, it spreads them out, and that's where Utah can really exploit the defense of Vegas. They've done it a few times throughout the last few games, but I just think that's the biggest key, because they are quicker, they are faster. That's what they need to do if they're going to win this game, and then obviously get a goal in the power play, because that's been struggling mightily all series.
There's no right or wrong answer here, but in all seriousness, and maybe I'm wrong, I look at it and I'm like, man, that'd be a cool place to go for a playoff game, catch the atmosphere, do some golfing. I've been to Salt Lake City. I was really young though. Would that be worth to put on the bucket list, or shoot it to me straight?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't BS you. It's really good. Like the atmosphere. Game 4, when they scored that second goal, they scored 2 goals in 27 seconds.
Yeah.
And when they were down 3-2, I thought the roof was going to blow off that place. So back to the NBA days when they were actually good, that was the loudest building in the league. I don't know what it is with the acoustics. I'm not Mick Jagger, but it's something about the building that it just fires sound all over the place. You can't even hear yourself think. And the funny thing is, too, is these people, they've bought into what hockey is. Do they really know the game that well? No, not yet. It's a new market. They're getting used to, for example, when to stand up and when not to. You don't stand up when we get the puck in our own end. We don't have them on the ropes yet. It's just like there's little things that are kind of funny where people are still learning the game, but the energy and the excitement outweighs everything else. And aside from the 2.5% beers, yeah, it's a great time. I think you got to put it on the list for sure.
Colorado, man, it's like they played a rec tournament, right? Like they're going to be rested now. I don't know how anyone's going to beat it. It is the playoffs; anything can happen. But my God, it seems like they got through easier than we thought.
Yeah, and LA, I just think LA is they're respectfully just. They're not an elite club. Like, they were lucky to get into the playoffs. They relied heavily on a defensive system. They have a lot of depreciating assets. Their younger players have been underwhelming in terms of they haven't taken the next step. So that was light work for Colorado. That was one of the only series I actually got right in terms of the team and games. I thought that was going to be a sweep. Just because LA, even adding Panarin, they just have such a tough time scoring goals, and they honestly just don't really have the depth, and they don't have the puck movers back there anymore on their back end. So that was easy. But if you're looking ahead with Minnesota, I mean, Minnesota, do not sleep on this team. Matt Boldy, as far as I'm concerned, is conservatively a top 15 player in the league, maybe even higher than that. Wow. The way he's playing, I would argue top 10. Brock Faber, an elite defenseman. This kid is one of the best in the league. And then you pair that with Quinn Hughes. Obviously, that pairing is insane. Kaprizov, if they can get goaltending and they can get that contribution from, by committee from their center ice position like they have been with Ryan Hartman and some of these guys in that 2C slot. I don't know. I think, I'm going to have to weigh it out a little bit more. But I think I'm leaning Minnesota, to be honest. I really am.
Oh, that's nice. I took them to win the Western Conference back as soon as the Hughes trade happened. So that would be nice for me financially if that happens.
Yeah, I just think the feel and the gauge of the team is something I really believe in mojo. Like, they get through that Dallas series, you're going to get so much confidence off of that. It's one of the tighter rooms in the entire league. I've had numerous guys inside that locker room tell me that, and even, I have a couple of buddies on the staff as well. So it's just one of those teams. I don't know if they're destined, but they finally get through the first round after 11 years of first round exits in Minnesota. I think they're going to get a ton of confidence off that. It's going to be a war. These are the two best in the West. It's going to be a war. There's no secret, but something tells me these boys in Mini, they're just up to something. So I think I'm going to take them in 7.
That place looks like a. I've never been to a game there. Also, that's a quick train ride too from Minot to Jet there. But in closing, I want to ask you, where do you think Brady Tkachuk's playing next year?
I think he starts as a Senator. I think that man can only handle so much BS from the media. I think they need to switch the narrative there, to be honest, and really buy into what this guy is telling them at face value of he wants to be a Senator, he wants to win there. There's just so much distraction around everything ever since he got back from the Olympics and political BS. I just think that city, that team, they got to back this guy. That's your captain, and if you truly want him there, well, don't be so negative around him.
Yeah.
Guys can only take so much, man. And before they just say, F it, I'm getting out of town. So that would be my approach. I think he starts in Ottawa. But we'll just see how it goes from there. I think he's fully committed as of now.
Okay, we'll have fun in Chicago. Thanks for doing this. Jay Swish, like I said, 24. Great follow on X and Twitter, and then the Home by 3 podcast. We can't wait to when you make it up here to Sasky at some point, though.
Hell yeah. You'll be the first call. We'll have to do like a content piece, not only at a CFL game, but maybe some Senior A. Stuff like that.
Oh, you know it.
That'd be hilarious.
We'll take you out to a senior game. Yeah, you'll love that. We'll sell that barn out for sure. And then what's the? We should get T-shirts printed. What do you call it? The toughest nine team league in the pro league, or what's your? How do you call the CFL?
It's the hardest 9-team league in sports. Yep.
There we go. There's the shirt. Let's print it. We can get it done.
All right, brother.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Inside the NHL, Eric Francis is back next week. That was Jordan Schmaltz, J_Swish24 on X, Home by 3 podcast. He did play in the league as well. Went to University of North Dakota and St. Louis Blues. Yeah, and his brother's rocking and rolling with Utah. So that's great. It's for Sports Select, sportsselect.com. Make your picks online, generate a QR code, go to your Lotto Spot retailer and scan that. There you go. See all the picks, all the futures, NHL, whatever you got, you can catch it there. It's a Sports Cage streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. It's for Nelson Holmes. Okay, clutch performer. Mine, easy, Mitch Picton, 9 years playing in the league, officially retired. What a guy. What a dog, as they say. Went Laboldus, then he went U of R, then to his hometown team. Over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 64 career regular season games. Congrats, Mitch Picton. Colson.
Yeah, I have 2. You remember that winning goal?
When I said I'd eat my gitch?
Yeah, well, that one. But you remember that winning goal in Philly yesterday in this video I showed where the guy caught the stick, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out the player wanted it back. Go figure.
What?
I know, right? So the man who caught the stick returned it to him. Wanted it back. The player wanted it back, said he wanted it framed, etc. In exchange, they gave him tickets to the next playoff game in Philly, a signed jersey, and another game-used stick. I'm like, yeah,
okay,
pretty good trade. But props to the guy for bringing the stick back, because there's a few people that probably wouldn't.
No, you got to, because your buddies know.
Oh yeah,
and then you get you got
you'll get outed. Mm-hmm. So that was my first one,
okay.
And then talking Spangler Cup. So that's HC Davos hosts that, right? That's their tournament.
Yes, correct.
Well, Davos is in the Swiss National League, and they just came down to a Game 7 against Fribourg Gotteron, who since the 80s has been runner-up 5 times and never won. Until now, they won their first championship against HC Davos in a 3-2 Game 7 overtime.
Oh, look at that! If you're listening on radio, power play goal from the right side of the umbrella, slap shot, and then they just go berserk.
Yeah. So again, first championship. The way European leagues work, there's relegation and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So they got into the top league in the 80s, runner-up 5 times, first championship here. So clutch performance right there.
Good stuff. So the only thing about now going to the Spangler Cup, if you're just tuning in, that Canada's not going, unclutch.
Yeah.
We think somebody at Hockey Canada forgot to send an email.
Or check theirs.
Because their deal was up and now they've kind of moved on. So they're not going, at least for next year. The only thing is it might be a lot easier to get tickets. I think the party will still be, the facility will still be cool, experiencing that now. But then maybe hotels are cheaper. And maybe just everything's a little bit easier.
Maybe.
Which is okay. Because I was never really going to watch Canada.
Yeah.
Sorry, no offense. I was going for the experience of the tournament.
Exactly.
Could be onto something here. Clutch performers for Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. If you're ever thinking solar on the house, farm, cabin, whatever, they can come out, give you a quote, let you know how much money you're looking at saving. Locally owned family company, Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. Sprinkle of the daytime. I think we're going to do this in hour 1. And then because I was so excited, I won pizza off Sharky yesterday. Play the clip again. If you people that maybe didn't hear.
What do we got? A wheel and a couple of glasses tonight?
Yeah, we could wheel and a couple of pints.
Yeah.
From Western Pizza.
Yeah.
How big a pie?
Just the two of us.
Okay.
Okay. I got the Oilers.
You got the Oilers?
Ducks.
Let's go.
Straight up. Love it. All right.
Take a seat, Sharky. Thanks, Ducks. Tonight, Tampa Bay, Montreal, starting at 5 our time. If you're watching the stream, there it is. If you're not, Pro Line 225, Tampa Bay, Montreal 230. If it goes to overtime, you're looking at a tie at 345. 5.5 is your over under. I like the tie there is very inviting. It's been a tight series, in like ton of 3-2 games. Buffalo, Boston went to overtime last time, didn't it? Pays $350 to go to overtime. Boston's $235 at home, and then the Pro Line for Buffalo's $220. 5.5 over under, and then the late. I'll be glued to the TV for the late one, and I'll be just hammering point. I want a streak of parlaying 2 guys with points online, but I think Vegas finishes this tonight, but I'm not super confident in it. 225. Utah 225, 355 for the tie. So all 3 ties are very, very, very sexy, very intriguing tonight. SportsSelect.com, generate a QR code, get to your Lotto Spot retailer, let them scan it. Every bet is 100% legal. And you're ready to play. Bet with the original. Chance of winning cash in hand. SportsSelect.com. I think a couple guys sent in text messages too about what they were thinking. They were thinking tonight. Putting green, we're giving it away. What time is it? 4:40. We'll go to break. When we come back, we're giving away a backyard putting green. Unbelievable. Excuse me. Thanks to the Classic Landscape Company. It's a SportsCage, 620 CKRM. Really got to give a shout out, obviously, to the Classic Landscape Company because they're on board with this promo. If you've never gone to their website and you're thinking like landscaping stuff, the classiclandscapeco.com, search it in Google. All the pictures in it, it's some really nice stuff. We had Mike from them, from the Classic Landscape Company come in earlier when we launched this, and he just kind of went through all the services they do. Anything, if you think landscaping, that's what they can do. But I'm seeing like a garden center on their website as well. So they can do it all. And obviously they do backyard putting greens. So that's what we wanted to do. And we had a lot of entries. Thanks to everyone who entered. Best of luck. But thanks to Nick in promotions. He was all over this. Nick Kajmar. What a dog. What a cowboy. What a unit. He was great with all this. But the winner, they did the wheel of winning. He's got cough. I got Sharky's cough from yesterday. And here's the envelope. Okay. Do you have his phone number? The winner of the backyard putting green from the Classic Landscape Company, Corey Barkhouse. Corey Barkhouse just won a backyard putting green from the Classic Landscape Company. Colson, I think they passed on yet because the other slip's gone from here. They passed on your phone number. Let's do like the radio thing where it's like, hey, Corey, what are you doing this afternoon?
Just sitting here. I was listening to you guys, hoping I was going to win this. And this is a nice call.
You're supposed to scream. It's like, hey, Corey, you want 2 tickets to the Backstreet Boys? And scream. No, man. How cool is having a backyard putting green going to be?
It's going to be pretty sweet. I've had a backyard hockey rink for a lot of years because I got a kid that is now outgrowing the backyard hockey rink. So to transfer it over to a putting green is going to be so wicked.
Okay, man. Yeah, obviously we're thanking the Classic Landscape Company. When you get this, when they come over and they do the work and they get this thing installed, you got to let us know because I want to come over and we'll do a picture and all that, and we'll show people the work they did and how it turned out.
Absolutely. I'll have some cold ones on ice, and we'll come over. We'll have a little sprinkle, and we'll a little sprinkle on a putting contest. I'll take your money.
Okay, I'll make sure I bring some blue bills and play for Finns. Corey, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for participating, and man, congratulations.
Thank you guys so much. Oh, and hey, one thing, go Flyers.
There we go. He's also a Flyers fan, so we'll see how that works. Corey Barkhouse is our winner of the backyard putting green. I tell you, that is a heck of a promotion. That went over really well. Thanks to Mike and the team from Classic Landscape Company. That's great. Again, thanks to Nick and all that. We got to do that. We got to do something fun again. I think a lot of people too are always like, you guys got to do a trip again. When is the SportsCage going to go on a trip? I think power of the herd works there. Send in messages, text in. You guys need to do a trip. Sharky and Crofty want to do a SportsCage NASCAR trip. I've never been to a NASCAR event. I think that'd be fun. Make it reasonable for people to go down. Maybe head to Phoenix. That's easy. SportsCage trip. NFL gets expensive. NHL, and you're kind of going, maybe it's NASCAR. Man, we gave away a putting green today. That is so cool. More to come. Let's go to break. We'll come back. If you didn't hear some of these clips from an emotional Mitch Picton today, we will do that as he announced his retirement. It's a SportsCage on the home of fun in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. I think his name's Brett, just texted in Prairie Line Rentals text line. Most random text of the day. He said, have you been watching or paying attention to the UFL at all? Surprisingly entertaining, staying afloat with announced expansion next year. No, I haven't. I don't have the time or brain capacity right now. Coaching 2 flag teams, I'm right invested in NHL playoffs, obviously, sprinkling, getting all that in, and I got to start swinging the wrenches. Weekend warrior, got to get out there and start golfing. But thanks for the update, Brett. Let us know. You can be our UFL guy, our UFL correspondent. You let us know what's going on there. Sorry to all of you that didn't win the putting green. I know it sucks. I didn't win the Lotto Max last week. I know how you feel. Maybe this week, but Corey Barkhouse did. Sounds like a great guy, too. He's going to have pints. He didn't say anything about Western Pizza, but that a little putting contest when he gets that bad boy installed thanks to the Classic Landscape Company. Mitch Picton retired after 9 seasons with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the CFL, his hometown team, today. I talked about this off the start of the show. Such an emotional press conference. It was great. I'm glad I went. Right in the feels, and just tons of emotion. So we played some clips off the hop. We haven't played these ones yet. Let's start first off with Jeremy O'Day. They ran some analytics on I guess Mitch Picton and how he kind of caught everything that was in the area.
Mitch, you're a class act, true pro. Just wanted to congratulate you on a great career and wish you luck going forward.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mitch.
Thank you.
Since 2022, Mitch was the only receiver with 70-plus targets that didn't drop a pass. And so I know what you're probably all going to think is, why don't we throw to Mitch more? Mitch was awesome, true team player, well-liked in the locker room, dependable. Guys love him, and across the board, coaches, equipment staff, he'll be missed in the building for sure.
The obvious question is, why are you hanging up the cleats, Mitch?
If you had told me when I got drafted 9 years ago, which is crazy, that I'd be standing here as a Grey Cup champion with the career that I've had, I never would have believed you. And it's been more than I ever could have imagined. I truly cannot overstate how much freaking fun I had over these years. Part of it is health, for sure. I've come out of camp the last couple of years with, some knee stuff going on, some Achilles stuff going on, and just wear and tear on my body. There comes a point where you feel like you can walk away from the game moderately intact, and I feel like that's where I am right now. That played a factor. Another part is I've said it a bunch of times, there's not a ton of happy endings in this game. It did hold some weight to me to be able to walk out on my own terms as a Grey Cup champion, and be able to end my career as I see fit.
Yeah, brings up a good point. And then he kind of talked about, after the Grey Cup victory, that's when he knew. Although just kind of announcing it here May 1st, and it was just a lot on the body. Like I said, it was an emotional press conference. And we talking to Farhan earlier. We'll play it again in hour 3 here. Just so he's a class guy. It's what you hope out of the CFL. Like I know you all get attached to the players, and there's great guys. Trevor Harris, kind of salt of the earth guy, right? Obviously, and they come up here, but then you got a local guy like Boldus High School, and did it the right way. Last year in and out of the lineup, kind of doing what he could, and then he was an important part. There's no doubt. The other thing is, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I never had a chance to get to know him or play for him, but so many people and the outpouring of support for just a legend in Saskatchewan football, especially in Regina, was Dwayne Mason, and Picton talked about Coach Mace.
I'd also like to take this time to acknowledge and honor Dwayne Mason, a long time Rams coach that passed away. We all kind of know that story, but a member of the football community in Saskatchewan that will leave a big hole. It'll be tough to fill.
Yeah. We'll play in hour 3 a couple of the other ones from hour 1. It was emotional. The one we talks about his parents, and parents were there and so proud. Like I said, if you're a parent, when you're proud of your kids. They walked into that room today smiling, and then there were a lot of tears. There were tears around when he talked about the equipment staff, and Yeah, he went on and on. He was drafted in the 5th round, 37th overall back in 2017, which doesn't seem like that long ago. 96 passes, 1,081 yards, 6 touchdowns in 64 career regular season games, the green and white. He'll be around. He'll be doing stuff with the foundation for sure. So Mitch Picton today officially retiring from the CFL. No Spengler Cup. Yeah, text message on that. What happening? Could you throw that up again, Colson? And then I'll kind of read it for people that are just tuning in. Hockey Canada and the Spengler Cup organizing committee have announced that Canada's national men's team will not participate in the 2026 Spengler Cup. Hockey Canada's long-term agreement expired following the 2025 Spengler Cup, and a new agreement to include Team Canada in the 2026 event could not be reached in time. Weird. And we joked who missed the email. Email went to the junk folder. Somebody did it on purpose and then they quit today. This is how you guys treated me. Now you're but so what do we just miss it 1 year? The Spengler or 2? I want to go really bad. It's on the bucket list. The next 2 Christmases though might be tough for me to haul myself over to Switzerland, to Davos. But you know what? Here's another. On this day in sports, I like doing the music thing, but this one's on this day in sports. 1991. Old man Ryan, Nolan Ryan, pitched his 7th no-hitter. Major League Baseball record. Guy was a weapon. Have you ever seen the documentary, the 30 for 30 on him, which I didn't know until later. He had dad strength for a long time. He was 44 years old when he did it. Obviously the oldest to throw a no-hitter. And it was against Toronto Blue Jays. 1991. They beat him 3-0. 44 years old. Old man Ryan out there slinging. Freak of nature, though. That I remember just the documentary. Just things that I didn't know about him and just how he was kind of a freak of nature. What do we got? Ticker? Yep. Let's get into it.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
All right, we're watching. We'll keep you updated here. Montreal and Tampa Bay getting after it. First game tonight. Then it's going to be Buffalo trying to finish off the Boston Bruins, and then Vegas and Utah. 3 good games tonight. Just got a text from the wife. I'm picking up supper. Easy peasy. Western Pizza. Let's roll. Western Hockey League. If you're in and around PA tonight, you're lucky. I don't say that very often. But you get Game 5. Medicine Hat in Prince Albert tonight, Art Hauser Center. Let's look for a joke. What do we got for time? We got time. Look up StubHub or look up one of the sites if they got tickets for this. If there's an aftermarket. And how much tickets for the Raiders-Tigers game tonight, 5 o'clock. 7 p.m. puck drop. I'm wearing my Raiders hat today. Go Raiders. I like Willie Desjardins, though, from Medicine Hat. I just don't have a Medicine Hat hat. And a Medicine Hat co-op hat somewhere. World Senior Curling Championship continues in Geneva, Switzerland. Bruce Cordy's representing Canada from Saskatoon. You can find out all the information there at sportscage.com. Major League Baseball, 6:10 first pitch. Toronto Blue Jays, Minnesota Twins. Sportscage.com poll today. Which CFL team improved the most after the Canadian and global drafts? Vote at sportscage.com. It's for Extreme Hockey and Sport, the local company, more than just hockey. They got baseball, they got lacrosse, 3 locations as well and under new management. They're at McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, and Temple Gardens Center in Moose Jaw. Did you anything on the black market?
I didn't get to the black market. Checked the proper market first. There's still standing room tickets.
Oh.
Yeah. All it's telling me is almost gone. It's not giving me any numbers or anything. But I wonder if our good friend has the numbers on it.
How much is the standing room ticket?
A standing room ticket here for General Rush is $34.
It's not a bad. It's going to be the atmosphere alone is worth $34 if you don't even want to watch hockey.
If you're a youth, you get it in for $24, and if you're a child, $17. So very affordable.
James on the text line. Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura. Is that when he gives him the headlock and just pumps him? I think it was Robin Ventura that rushed the mound and learnt the hard way that old man Ryan was could chuck him as well. Okay, hour 3's coming up. If you're cruising around, we got a good hour 3 for you. Brett Jones, former NFLer from Weyburn, Saskatchewan, and coach of the. If you don't know his story, I could sit there and talk to the guy for an hour. That's coming up. We're going to have more from the Picton presser and Farhan Lalji. It is a Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Welcome back. Hour 3 of the Sports Cage on this Friday for Nelson Homes, RTM and home packages for over 65 years. We've had a lot of hockey talk. We've had some football talk. Farhan Lalji, again, a bit here coming up in this hour, and then a little audio from the retirement of Mitch Picton. But like we said earlier, let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. It's Friday. No need to cook. Watch hockey. Grab Western Pizza, maybe a pie, a lasagna, whatever you want. Joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Brett Jones from originally Weyburn, Saskatchewan. I love this story. We were chatting off camera, Brett. Thanks for making some time today, because I know you're busy.
Yeah, no problem. I'll make time anytime to do stuff like this. So
this week, first off, start this weekend. You're coaching with the U of R. This weekend, big weekend. The weather's turning now. How does everything play out for you guys this weekend?
Yeah, so we're having the Regina Rams annual spring camp. I know for the guys that I coach, they're beyond excited. We've had 11 great practices this spring, winter now. I'm skipping a season, but leading up to this, the guys are super excited, and it's fun, to get out there and play in the sun and play football again. And we got a scrimmage this Sunday, so feel free to come out and check that out. We got a lot of great talent here that I think is really worth watching.
How's that spring camp at the U of R changed in 2026 here from when you were going to spring camp?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So back in 2009, we only had 65 players on the roster with old Frank McChrystal. Wouldn't change those days for the world, Frank's the man. But we got, a lot more guys out here at camp, just with the size of rosters today. There's 100 kids. So there's kids from all over the country like there was when we played. The Rams have always done a good job of finding players wherever they are and bringing them on the team and incorporating them into what's a great city here in Regina, and getting to learn to love the prairies one day at a time, whether they want to admit it or not.
I love watching the junior or university ranks in Saskatchewan, because you get these kids and they might have played 6-a-side or 9-a-side and they played a bunch of different positions. You're from Weyburn, a little bit bigger of a center, but you see that with the Rams as well. Is these guys come in and probably going to put them on the O-line, but they'll come in with a repertoire of playing a number of other positions when it comes to small town high school ball.
For sure. And one of the things that I see a lot, like we got a kid that played hockey, and it's a really great, cross training for your lower half of your body. I've talked to other guys that played pro with, and they're like, what was sort of the thing that you did? And I said, I played hockey. It really helped me as an O-lineman. And if you ever wanted to be a good O-lineman, maybe just play a little hockey. So no, but definitely there's lots of great athletes here in the province, and they're from all corners of the province, no matter where you look. Saskatchewan's got the best volunteers and some of the best youth sports you could ever have. So,
and that Rams program, like Coach McConkey and you all, like what you guys are doing there, let's be honest, the last 3 years, like trajectory wise, we're going up, we're going this way.
For sure. I think that, one of the things I think we all really appreciate is that winning is really tough. But if you want to be on the same category that a lot of these teams have been in the Canada West, whether that's the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, our neighbors up north, whether that's the Calgary Dinos or the UBC Thunderbirds, it's sustained success. And so for us, one of the things this year, no matter what happens, I think we're on the right track. Things can happen, injuries, whatever, but it's all about your process. And Coach McConkey talks about that all the time, and just trying to win each day and get a little bit better. I think we've been able to do that, and I think I'm really excited for this season. We got a lot of things to be optimistic about and continue our ascension, to being a consistent team year in and year out.
CFL draft just happened this week. When you go back to when you when you got drafted, what was that like for you? I'm sure the emotions and the memories come back when it is draft time.
For sure. One of the things, the more time you spend out of the game, the more time you appreciate it. Talking to a guy like Mitch Picton today and congratulating him on such a great career, you reminisce about the people, and that's one of the things about football that I've loved is the people you get to meet. There's just when I was on the Rams, there's 65 different people from all walks of life, getting to meet those people. And you all have a collective goal. And I got to, live my goal of playing in the NFL and doing those things and being a CFL draft pick and those things. You never, you don't think it's going to happen, but for me, when I got drafted, it was something truly special and something I've shared with my family, and we've enjoyed it.
I love your story. The Calgary Stampeders, you get drafted, you're playing CFL from Weyburn, Saskatchewan, and then boom, this kid's playing for the Giants, and then the Vikings after that. Like, when did the NFL become real for you?
One of the things, it's a really good question, and one I've gotten, and I've had some time to think about that for me personally. I think being a part of the Rams, I had great mentors. Brendan Labatt was here years before, and Brendan Labatt helped the guy that helped me, which was John Hashem, and those guys were really important for me. And then the biggest, I think, reason was Akeem Hicks, that when you get to practice against somebody that's that good. And the cool part is that the stakes aren't that high. We're practicing, you're just getting better. And yeah, he kicked my butt. He was quite good. But I get him every once in a while, and he won't admit it. But we always did have good battles. But that's where you really get better, is you play against really good players like we had at the U of R during my time. Stephon Charles, Akeem Hicks, it was an O-lineman's dream, and that was perfect for me. Practices were hard, but that's what prepared me. And I think that's why I had such early success in the CFL, is that I had played a guy that went on to play in the NFL and was successful right away. And I got that chance early, and I was able to show that when I played in the CFL.
Was there a time when you went to camp, or when you first get to New York with the Giants? Because I'm sure it's daunting, the city alone and everything around the area. But is there a time that you're like, I belong here. I can do this?
Yeah, that one definitely took a while for me. It was hard, I hadn't done a lot of under center snapping, and there's a lot of pressure, when you get like an Eli Manning back there and you got to snap on the ball, you just think, I don't want to jam his fingers or do something like that. But once you sort of get past those days and you start stacking success, and you start to believe in it, and then your coaches believe in you. And that's another thing. I think a real big thing for me is I had great coaches, whether it was here in Saskatchewan at the U of R, in the CFL, and then in the NFL. I had people that believed in me, and that really helped. Sometimes a challenge of all athletes is confidence, but that's earned. And I think I had a lot of great coaches that helped me do those things. And that's sort of why I like to coach today, is that I had great coaches that helped me live my goal and gave me the proof to believe in myself. Because sometimes you just need a little kick, and that's it, right? They believe in you, and you can do it.
When the career was done down south, NFL, and you have an amazing run down there, was there ever a time that you were like, maybe I will go back and play 1 or 2 more years back home in Canada?
I definitely thought about it. I really wanted to, and we were really close. I had almost signed the 1 year, and my body just didn't have it anymore, and that was sort of the problem. And I wish I could have. My wife always wanted me to play here, but that's the one thing you have to respect about the game, is that it's a Warriors mentality, and you got to be ready to go to battle each and every day. And if you don't have it, you don't have it. And that was sort of where I was at in my life and my career. And I do wish I had that chance to play, and it just didn't work. But it was all on me. It wasn't anybody else. I wish I could have got my body in better shape to do it. But
and now it's fascinating because you're coaching the Rams and you're back in school.
exactly. My life always seems to go full circle here. I started at the U of R. I started in school, but here I am back in school. But one of the great things I can talk about here is that the University of Saskatchewan and the College of Medicine here does a great job of preparing us as students. I have such a great cohort of classmates. They're going to make great doctors here. They're going to practice in the province, I'm sure. But again, there's nothing better to be around people. And that's one thing I missed about the game is you miss people that have like-minded goals and are high achievers. I have that in the cohort of people I get to practice with and learn skills with. And then I get to share that, I'm a learner with the players I coach. I love to share different techniques I'm doing because, I had to pick up the books again, and I had not done that in a long time. Obviously, studying for game plans, yeah, it's sure it's studying, but not quite the same when you're learning systems of the body or doing that stuff. But it's cool that, I can be relatable to the players and, be a role model in that sense. That school can be hard, but hey, if you want, football's a means to an end. That's the Frank McChrystal quote that I think that football is just the beginning of your life, and it's going to teach you all those skills so you can be successful. And school's a great springboard for that.
And just in closing, I don't want to get cheesy here or generic, but I want to ask you, because the path you took, and it's fascinating, and I just love everything about it. What would you say to the young kids in Sasky that are playing? Maybe they are playing an offensive line role. Maybe they're playing whatever, Is it, have fun, play other sports. The coaching thing is huge. But what would you tell the young kids, or what do you tell the young kids that are coming up in the game?
I just think just love the game. If you love the game, it'll take you as far as you want to go. And I think for me, again, I had a special, relationship with sport. It really helped build my confidence in a lot of areas of my life. But I think one of the biggest things is you don't have to tell people about your dreams as long as you have them. That's one of the best things. And I had a dream that I wanted to play it. I really wanted to play, whether it was here at the college first, and then I realized I had the confidence, hey, maybe I could try the CFL. And then, hey, maybe I could try the NFL. Again, a lot of people don't get that privilege, to be able to keep trying, and you find success all the time, because success is hard and those things are challenging. But just enjoy the sports for what they are, play them because you love them, and you'll never regret it. I think that sport teaches you so many things. You don't realize it when you're playing it, but you'll love those lessons, when times get hard in your life, because inevitably everything always does.
Well, have a great weekend at spring camp with the U of R. Fascinating story. I love everything about it. Again, I know you're busy. Thanks for taking some time today and doing this, Brett.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time. I always talk about the Rams. Make sure, again, if you want to come out on Sunday, come check it out. These kids are definitely worth watching. They all are relatable guys. They're just some of the same kids you would have had in your neighborhood growing up, and they're going on to do great things each and every day. So it's fun to support them.
Thank you so much. There he is on this Friday for Nelson Holmes on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Former NFLer, CFLer, U of R, Brett Jones joining us here. Weyburn Comprehensive. We can't forget Weyburn Comp as well. Friday edition of the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com and on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Congratulations to Corey Barkhouse again. In hour 2, we announced he was the winner of our backyard putting green from the Classic Landscape Company. They're going to install it, and he's going to have a putting green. He said he had a hockey rink with his kids back there, but then they outgrew it. So now he just got nothing. He's got a putting green. Corey Barkhouse, the winner there. There's some other CFL news today, Colson, pertaining to a local resident.
Yeah, BC Lions released Ryder Varga. Saw that on the text line. I forget, and I can't find who it was now that sent that in for us. But yeah, maybe he fills in where Hundeby is retired now.
Maybe we should go with allegedly released Ryder Varga. But yeah, that may be a pickup for the green and white for sure. If you missed it earlier, after 9 seasons,
it is official. Actually,
it is official. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking on.
Mitch Picton retired from the game of football as a Saskatchewan Roughrider. Played them all right here. Such a great press conference. It was emotional. It was fantastic. The one he, like I said in hour 1, he started by thanking the media, which some do, a lot don't. Just kind of, it was he was prepared and he didn't want to miss anyone. But the one, I guess he had a really close bond with the equipment managers in Gordon, Gilroy, and Ty Robinson, and just the emotion when he talked about them.
The backbone of the organization, Gordon Gilroy and Ty Robinson. Thank you guys for everything. Gordy, I see you crying. Now I'm gonna cry. I spent a lot of time in their room. They took incredibly good care of me. I'm gonna miss these guys a lot. There's some hard days in this job. And sometimes just going into their room and having a cup of coffee and getting made fun of by Ty for a few minutes was exactly what I needed on certain days.
That was awesome. Those guys, they were standing beside me too, and it was real emotion. And then his parents walked in. His parents were there, just smiling. I actually rode the elevator down with them, and just smiling and proud. Just proud parents. You could just feel it again. If you're a parent, you get it. You don't even have to say anything. Just when you're proud of your kids and whatever they did, and you could just feel about like it was great. And then obviously all the emotions when he talks about the journey and his parents.
I'd like to thank my parents. My whole life. They've given me every opportunity to be successful in football and beyond football. They've chased me around the entire country for years. From the time I was 18 years old, chasing me around the country to support me and watch me play football. I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done for me.
That's real. That's real right there. The emotions. And then obviously thanked his all of his current and past teammates.
My teammates, some of them are here today. Farhan's in the building. Very thankful for them. You meet so many incredible people throughout your journey in sports, and you learn so much, and that's something that I'll forever be grateful for.
And he was, like Leboldus, and he talked about his kind of early memories of football. I think he's 5-6 years old, and he was playing touch at old Taylor Field, old Mosaic Stadium. And he was just like, wow. And then, he goes to Leboldus, usually a wagon. And then U of R, and then he's drafted, and he, that was 37th overall, 5th round in 2017 to the Riders, and then he makes it, and he played. And we don't have the clip, but he talked about his first game when he got in. I think he said it was in Montreal, a couple catches, and he seemed like the cerebral, like just really smart player. And it just all those emotions of being a local guy and going through it. And like I talked, you'll hear when we talk with Farhan here in a bit, it's just like, that's what the CFL, that's what it should be about. It's when I think of the great CFL stories, it's like those local guys. And it hits harder in Saskatchewan, I think, than anywhere else, let's be honest. And Picton, he just kind of talked about, just kind of had to pinch himself about it all.
If you had told me when I got drafted 9 years ago, which is crazy, that I'd be standing here as a Grey Cup champion with the career that I've had, I never would have believed you. And it's been more than I ever could have imagined. I truly cannot overstate how much freaking fun I had over these years.
It's great. It's great stuff. Zero. Oh, you know what? We'll give the update during the ticker calls.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Habs and Tampa Bay Lightning, 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first period. 0-0. Habs trying to advance to the second round. Also trying to move to the second round, the Buffalo Sabres. They get it on with Boston in Boston in about coming up here momentarily. And then Tampa Bay, and then Vegas and Utah tonight, the late game. Vegas, it's been a good series. Vegas a chance to advance to the second round. Medicine Hat, Prince Albert tonight in PA. 7 o'clock puck drop. You're lucky if you're going to that one. It's tied 2-2. The Western Hockey League Eastern Conference Final. And the Blue Jays are throwing the ball around today in Minnesota. 6:10 is the first pitch. SportsCage.com poll today: which CFL team improved the most after the Canadian and global drafts? Vote at SportsCage.com. That ticker was for Regina Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Regina Steelcraft Doors. I guess the one thing I didn't mention too, weird, that Canada will not be participating in the Spengler Cup next year. They didn't come into an agreement in time. I guess they had a 5-year deal and then it expired and they didn't come to an agreement. So Canada's out. The Spengler Cup next year. I know a lot of people the other day were talking about the U18s we lost out there to Sweden, not medaling there, and Canada. Maybe that's where we are now, people. Maybe that is where we are now. Farhan Lalji's coming up in a bit. Can't wait to just to see how some of these games play out. Habs and Tampa, it's getting rowdy right now. Get home and watch some hockey. Thanks to everyone who texted in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line over the last little bit. The putting green thing went over fantastic. Corey Barkhouse is our winner. Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262, 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner right now. The robotic lawnmowers, $1,000 off. Those right now, $1,000 off. A Husqvarna dealer in Regina. Western Pizza guest hotline. Everyone was participating on that. That's what I'm grabbing tonight. Not going to overthink things. Get it done. Colson, heck of a job all week. Good job all week. We'll go to break. We'll come back. If you missed it, Farhan Lalji talking lots of CFL and very interesting news on the Vancouver Whitecaps. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.